Greetings, my acolytes, and welcome back to the archives. If anything is to be said for certain, is that the acolytes of the dark side, whether it be the Night Sisters, the Sith, the prophets of the dark side, or the Sith Eternal cultists, have had a numerous amount of members who have impacted the galaxy in critical blows in one form or another, with the Sith being one of the most monumental cults in all of galactic history, rivaled only in fame and infamy by that of the Jedi. One of these most powerful acolytes and the undisputed master of the Sith after the fall of Palpatine was Darth Krayt, with Darth Krayt obviously being the Tusken Raider who had originally been a Jedi, a general named Ressurected Het during the time of the Clone Wars. Ressurected would eventually go on to become a bounty hunter and a leader of the Tusken Raiders before having a run-in with Obi-Wan Kenobi in his exile, putting up an impressive and combative fight, even managing to strike Obi-Wan in the face with the hilt of his lightsaber before losing. Het would eventually fall to the dark side, and Darth Krayt would attain the moniker of Dark Lord of the Sith, establishing the One Sith ideology, which would become the main primary dark side cult in the galaxy for the next 130 years. Darth Krayt, although, would emerge from hiding to defeat the corrupted Force Celestial Abeloth alongside Grandmaster Luke Skywalker, his light side equal, who at the time was similar in power to him. But even the mightiest of the Sith have to die in some form, and today we are going to be exploring the way that Darth Krayt finally perished, the way he perished before he used the ability of Dark Transfer in order to resurrect himself one final time. Our story kicks off after Darth Krayt had recently dueled Celeste Morn, the ancient Jedi who had been possessed by the Mer Talisman and the spirit of Karnus Mer himself, ultimately encasing her in stasis, which allowed her to remain alive for 9,000 years. Krayt was currently in desperate need and finding for a cure for himself, as his life was nearing its end, due to the infestation of the Yuzong Vong parasites growing inwards, slowly transforming him to a mindless beast. Krayt and the foremost members of his order travelled to Had Abaddon, a planet in the Outer Rim with intentions of capturing Cade Skywalker, the grandson of Luke Skywalker. On the surface, Mer offered an alliance and began to modify Krayt's body, malforming it. Suddenly, everything was unveiled to be a trap, as Cade's allies were waiting in secret, concealing themselves from Krayt's ideology. Mer, however, took control fully of Celeste Morn and planned to take Krayt's body for his own, seeing as Krayt was a much more formidable being than anyone in the galaxy, with the death of Grandmaster Luke Skywalker. During the fight, Krayt was impaled in the right side of his chest by Azlyn Rae, electrocuted and force-pushed off a cliff by Karnus Mer possessing the body of Celeste Morn, and seemingly fell to his absolute doom. However, at the bottom of the cliff, Darth Wylock, having landed his shuttle nearby, approached the One Sith Emperor's body, declaring he would have taken the Tomb of the Sith to Korriban. To his surprise, Krayt suddenly awoke, having cushioned his fall with his force strength. He asked Wylock to take him to a Bacta tank in order to regain his strength, but the Chagrian Sith Lord instantly electrocuted his master in response, seemingly killing him. He then entombed Krayt's body in a stasis chamber within Zozan's temple on Korriban, Zozan being one of the most evil, cruel, and one of the first Sith Lords in all of history, and a master of Sith alchemy and magic, hiding the truth from the other Sith while planning and scheming on inducting all beings in the galaxy into the ranks of the One Sith, as Krayt had always intended. Darth Maladai, however, suspected Krayt had been killed by Wylock and shared her concerns with Darth Nihil. Maladai also feared Wylock would try to eliminate the two, as they had not been born Sith, and suggested Nihil go to Korriban and verify whether Krayt was alive or not. Once on the temple, Lord Nihil lied to Darth Talon, telling her that he had felt Lord Krayt summoning in his mind. The pair entered the stasis room and discovered that Krayt's corpse had vanished, while his armor remained in the chamber, as Krayt was finally free of his Yuzong Vong implants after over 170 years of torment. Lord Nihil then informed Wylock about the disappearance of Krayt's corpse in his tomb on Korriban. Wylock immediately claimed that somebody had killed the recuperating Krayt and then stolen his body, leaving his armor behind, somehow felling and removing it from his body. Already facing serious losses in the war with the Alliance and the Fel Empire led by Emperor Roan Fel by birth, Wylock offered that the incident had been covered up temporarily and appointed himself as the new emperor, with Nihil serving as his advisor and second-in-command, very similar to how Wylock had served as Krayt's second-in-command during Krayt's time as the emperor, although now Krayt was seemingly in a permanent hiatus. An enraged Warlock used Force Lightning to destroy Krayt's armor. As advisor, Niall used his position to move up against his rival Talon by implicating the latter in Krayt's disappearance and final destruction. This suspicion was backed by Talon's apparent disappearance following her meeting with Niall. Warlock expressed his suspicions on Talon's loyalty to Warlock, believing that she was completely and bound to the power of Darth Krayt, and ordered Niall to apprehend her for interrogation. Niall then pursued Talon into the ancient Valley of the Dark Lords, an ancient home of ancient Sith darkside and a nexus and conduit for the dark side of the Force in the galaxy, by using the Force to home in on her position, tapping into the innermost Force energies of the planet, very similar to how Anakin Skywalker did on Mortis. While he was on the route to finding Talon, he encountered a Tukata, but the powers to tell the beast that he was not a foe, merely a fellow acolyte of the dark side. Meanwhile, cowering in a deep chamber, Talon had already encountered the resurrected and currently rejuvenating Krayt, who had granted her the ability to sense any pursuers who were following her. He had also healed himself with his long implantations, which had been implanted more than a century ago, which he had foreseen as part of his rebirth, and made him the most powerful Sith Lord up until this point, and the most powerful Sith Lord currently alive, as well as the most powerful Force-sensitive being excluding entities in the entirety of the galaxy. Eventually, Talon detected Niall, finding him pursuing her in order to uncover the truth of Darth Krayt's rebirth and thought to be of death. Dueling Talon until Darth Krayt intervened and revealed to the two Sith his scheme to hold the one Sith under his control for eternity. For decades, he had taken the most powerful newly born Force sensitives, having them variously enhanced with cybernetic implantations and extraterrestrial various implants, and turned them into unquestionably loyal Sith troopers bound to his will that would take their own lives when ordered to do so by their master, exceeding a loyalty surpassing that of even Darth Talon. It was with this battalion of troopers, and a new, more powerful class of Sith starfighter that would come to be known as the Annihilated class starfighter, that Darth Krayt intended to make himself the unquestioned and unparalleled leader of the galaxy, and squish the Rebel Alliance and the remaining Jedi once and for all. Upon revealing this, he then revealed his will and presence to all those in the galaxies that had ever touched the dark side, Cade Skywalker included. Though this brought pleasure to the one Sith, Darth Warlock stood alone as an enemy of Krayt upon confirming that the Dark Lord was alive. And in this moment, Darth Warlock knew fear, as he knew that even in his immense power, he could not slay Darth Krayt. Soon after, Krayt proceeded to head to Coruscant with Darth Niall and Talon, along with at least 2 Sith troopers. When they arrived, they were confronted by several Sith that Darth Warlock had convinced that this Krayt was an imposter. After a brief but ferocious battle, Darth Krayt's forces were successful, and enraged Warlock then confronted the Dark Lord, declaring he had already killed him, and that he would not apologize for attempting to kill Krayt, and seeing that treachery was the way of the Sith, and that the rule of 2 had been right in various factoids. After a short, ferocious, vicious, and intense duel, Darth Krayt led Warlock to believe that he was victorious, only then to utterly impale the usurper through the chest using his Jarkal style of fighting, impaling him through the heart and his ribcage with his twin lightsabers. With his former closest advocate and ally dead, Darth Krayt declared that he had the galaxy truly united. He would have to cause it to go through a form of death and rebirth as he had. With that said and done, the Dark Lord of the Sith began to scheme and make his machinations, as well as his preparation for all-out war. Well, my friends and acolytes, what did you think of this? Darth Krayt is one of the oldest, one of the most powerful characters in all of the lore, surpassing beings like Yoda, Anakin Skywalker, and even the most powerful of the Jedi. And for a time, you could even say that he eclipsed the power of Grand Master Luke Skywalker, although due to Luke's power progression rivaling that of the Chosen One, Luke very well surpassed Krayt, but only just. Krayt got on a level of a being such as Palpatine. Through time, manipulation, and cunning, Krayt was immensely formidable, and a being perhaps stronger than any other being in galactic history, at least during his lifetime. Well, my friends, my acolytes, and my students, I'll see you in the galaxy far, far away, and remember, kneel before the empire of the one Sith.